Shalom, Chaverim. It's Rubisa. This week's Hebrew word is kufsa. There's another video about kufsa, the box, and how Jakey does a big mitzvah with his gadol kufsa. I want to share with you a different book about kufsa, which I think is a really nice end to our year. And it's called Shani's Kufsa. The author is Rinat Hofer. Rinat Hofer is my favorite Hebrew author for children's books. Among her great ones are Hanan Haganan, the story I read to you with the very interesting looking trees. Oh, but I said she's one of my favorite Hebrew authors. You might notice that the words in this book are not in Hebrew. They are in English. This book has been translated, but Rinat Hofer wrote it in Hebrew first. But now the book is definitely in English, but I'll put a few words in Ivrit, in Hebrew. I have a present for you, Shani's Abba said. Na'alayim, shoes for Rosh Hashanah, all shiny and red. Shani tried them on and threw the kufsa to the floor. It was only a kufsa after all, nothing more. An ordinary kufsa that had come from the shop with a pale gray lid and a stripe on the top. The kufsa lay hidden behind duck and bear, and on Yom Kippur, Shani found it there. Right, see duck and bear on her shelf? She cut out windows and doors one by one, glued leaves on the top, and the sukkah was done. So she turned her kufsa into a sukkah. She got the kufsa for Rosh Hashanah. On Yom Kippur, she found it, and now she's making a sukkah. Do you remember learning and experiencing all of these chagim, all of these Jewish holidays this year? She added decorations at school the next day. Shivat Taminim, the 7 fruits of Israel, made from paper, and 7 guests, the ushpizin, made of clay. But after Sukkot, the kufsa was thrown out, and the strong autumn wind blew it about. Once again, it was only a kufsa from the shop, with a slightly squashed lid and a stripe on the top. As winter came, a cat, a chatul, passed it by and meowed to itself. Oh, how lucky am I? When the wild wind blew, the ruach, and the geshem fell to the ground, the chatul was all snug in the bed she had found. So now the kufsa is not a sukkah, it's a bite for a chatul, for a cat. She was still in the kufsa, sleeping tight, as Chanukah candles were burning bright. Chanukah ended, and the days flew past, until outside the almond tree blossomed at last. There in the yard lay the kufsa from the shop, with a slightly damp lid and some mud on the top. Tu B'Shvat came. Plants sprouted and grew, white daffodils and pink tulips too. Out of the kufsa, a buttercup sprang. My kufsa is a flower pot, Shani sang. Do you remember having Tu B'Shvat at school, the birthday for the trees? Shani replanted the flower with pride and left the kufsa, forgotten, outside. There it stayed, that kufsa from the shop, getting crumbly and dirty with cobwebs on top. Just before Purim, guess what Shani did? She tied on some string and made a mask from the lid. You must remember Purim at school. Ima filled the kufsa with hamantaschen and sweets, a mishloach manot full of festive treats. In school, Ori ate more than his share, and the kufsa was returned, now empty and bare. So now our kufsat Purim is a masecha, a mask, and mishloach manot. Once more, the kufsa was left out of sight until the day the shemesh shone bright. Turtle doves nested, wing touching wing. At home, spring cleaning was in full swing. Abba worked hard to make everything clean so the mess and chametz could no longer be seen. Ima was tidying the house as well, and things that were lost, was hiding the house all around, and things that were lost were suddenly found. Now, maybe you remember that the Chag right after Purim, 1 month later, is one that requires a lot of cleaning. It is Pesach time. Shani's sister Gal took the kufsa from the shelf and claimed it as a treasure chest for herself. She added some glitter and drew on some paintings, then filled it up with all trinkets and playthings. The very next day, her friends took great pleasure in emptying out all of the treasure, and under the bed, the kufsa from the shop lay there all pink with sparkles on top. Pesach arrived, and on Seder night the Afikoman man was hidden from sight. Shani soon found it and claimed her prize, a new dolly with sparkling eyes. She laid her doll in the kufsa with a smile, like Moshe's teva afloat in the Nile. All right, so now we've seen the kufsa at Pesach. After Pesach, we got ready for Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's birthday. Yom Ha'atzmaut was drawing near. Gal said, "I'm hanging the degel this year." But she couldn't quite reach for all that she tried, so she ran to get the kufsa from inside. Ima worried, but Abba said it was cool for Gal to climb on her makeshift stool and hang the degel triumphantly for all of Yisrael and the neighbors to see. So that was Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's birthday. The kufsa lay in a drawer for the next 14 days, collecting old papers for the bonfire blaze. On Lag La'ober, the kufsa held a stash of warm baked potatoes, all covered in ash. So now we see the kufsa helping at Lag La'omer. We had our bonfires. Ima filled the kufsa, and look what she made, a beautiful basket for the Shavuot parade. Full of fresh fruit, it was sure to impress. The same goes for Shani in her new white dress. Shavuot, when we got the Torah. 2 grapes were all that were left from the crop. Ima cleaned the kufsa and cut a slit in the top. Surprise! I made us a polling station where we'll all get to vote where we go on vacation. So now the kufsa is where you can put in a piece of paper and vote. Voting on where they're going to go on their trip. Summer holidays are drawing near, so write your requests and put them in here. Abba wrote Africa. Shani chose space. Gal drew on her note a pink horsey place. Ima counted the votes and said with glee, "We're off to Eilat to swim in the sea." While the girls played with sand on the beach, the kufsa was left on a shelf out of reach. You remember when we went pretend to Eilat and we learned about all those fish? We went snorkeling, maybe, with a straw. The summer was over, and just as before, a new year was knocking at Shani's door. Again, Abba said, "A present for you, a new pair of na'alaim, and this time they're blue. There's a dash of yellow and a dab of pink for Rosh Hashanah. What do you think?" Funny, thought Shani suddenly thought. The na'alaim are new, but the kufsa, it is not. The very same kufsa, so old but so dear, brought memories back of the previous year. Shani lifted the lid, peered in, and smiled as her imagination began to run wild. Through the whole year, Shani's mind was zooming. She saw dreidels, a sukkah, the almond tree blooming, a clown picking humintashen, hung up high, matzah kites flying away in the sky. Flags and bonfires, sunflowers standing tall, winter to spring, then summer, then fall. One year is over. There's a new one ahead. And Shani, she's sound asleep in her bed. There's her kufsa. And then here on the last page is a chart of all the places the kufsa went. So we started here at Echad. That was Rosh Hashanah. That's when she got her na'alaim. Shtayim is Yom Kippur, when she found the kufsa. Shalosh is the sukkah that she made out of the kufsa. Arba is Chanukah, when it was home to the Chatul. Chamesh is Tu B'Shvat, where plants were growing in it. And Shesh is Purim, where it was home for Mishloach Manot. Sheva was Pesach, where the afikoman hid inside of it, and it became the gift, the home for her afikoman, like Teva for Moshe. Shmona, Yom HaAtzmaut, to help hang the degel for Israel for its birthday. Tesha, Lag LaOmer, and it held food for their midura, for their bonfire. Eser, Shavuot, it was the bikurim basket to hold their food. And that is pretty much our whole Jewish year. And as our school year has come to an end, I hope you take time to think about all the things you did every step of the way, with or without a kufsa. Shalom, chaverim.